Welcome back, father lovers, to a brand new episode of Last Call at Pemberton's, the best damn How I Met Your Father podcast on the internet. I am one of your hosts, Josh, here with my best bud, John. How you doing, man?
I am doing excellent. Did you say the best damn How I Met Your Mother Father podcast?
I hope I didn't say that, but if I did, hey, it is what it is.
I mean, it is what it is. Either way, if it is, I mean, it's kind of what it is. It is a subsidiary, so I mean, it's not like it's a wrong.
Sure, maybe I'll change it up. It'll say a How I Met Your Mother Father podcast. Boom.
I respect that.
But
no, I'm doing good, man. I can't complain. Here we are with another beautiful episode of How I Met Your Father.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to talk about it because I'll be honest, this one really felt like How I Met Your Mother to me.
Oh,
I loved it. It was
well. We were talking a little bit before we started recording, and like there were definitely some things I noticed in this one that just we both thought different episodes, but we both thought How I Met Your Mother. And then there was just a couple of small things I caught throughout the episode that I'm like, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive into it. But before we dive into the episode, I wanted to make a correction on an error that I made in a previous episode. Last episode, I mistakenly said that Pamela Fryman directed it, and she did not.
Oh,
I know. I think I was just, when I was doing the notes, I made an assumption. And it was a wrong assumption, my friend.
Well, great. Because, for once, it actually stands true that you made the assumption and it makes an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, it happens, though. But, so, I'm here to make that correction. Last week's episode, which was Universal Therapy, was actually directed by Michael Shea. Michael Shea actually worked on How I Met Your Mother as a first assistant director and directed 4 episodes. He was one of the 2 other directors on the show outside of Pamela Fryman.
Oh, okay.
And he directed Intervention, Garbage Island, Disaster Averted, and The Fortress. Yeah.
Interesting. Really good episodes that always stand out, too.
Yeah. So I wanted to make sure I gave Michael Shea his props for doing last week's episode. All right. So now that we got that out of the way, we can get into How I Met Your Father, Season 2, Episode 7, A Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Valentine's Day. Quite a title there.
I mean, it's not an untrue statement, though, because you also hate Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm just not.
Although, now you're forced to love it.
That is true. I am, for very different reasons. Yes. It is my daughter's birthday, and so now I am forced to celebrate it in some fashion.
I'm 95% sure she did that just to spite the two of you. She knew how much you both hated Valentine's Day, and she's like, "Okay, I'm gonna come on Valentine's Day then and make them love it forever."
She's like, "Oh, you guys want me to come out on Friday the 13th? Nah, I'm coming out on Valentine's Day, bitch."
In all fairness, though, it's a good thing she didn't come on Friday the 13th.
Come on, man. That would have been awesome. That would have been dope. You know it.
I mean, except that she would have shared the day with another date now for other reasons, and that would have sucked.
Yeah. I mean, it happens. It could have brought light to that day. You know what I mean?
I mean, it could have. You're not wrong.
Yeah. Could have brought light to a dark day. But that's not what we're here to talk about. I'm not here to talk about my dark days. We're here to talk about the dark days of the gang in How I Met Your Father.
Of Valentine's past.
That's right. This episode aired on March 7th of 2023. Directed, I did double check, by Pamela Fryman. Though I did look, the next episode, not Pamela Fryman, and it will be somebody that we do know.
Ooh,
yeah. I could tell you now, or I could keep it a secret. That's up to you, my friend.
It doesn't bother me. Go ahead and say it.
Phil Lewis.
Oh, shit. Hooch is crazy.
Hooch is crazy. That's right.
Mosby I don't care how many times Phil Lewis will be in anything else that I will ever see him in. He's always going to be Hooch to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. 100%, man. Because Hooch is crazy. And it was written by Amy Jo Perry, who previously worked as a writer and producer on the reboot of Saved by the Bell, and was also a producer's assistant on one of my favorite shows, Futurama. Yeah. Love that show. All right, so the summary for this one is simple. The gang recounts their worst Valentine's Day experiences in order to cheer up Ellen. Plain and simple, there it is, my friend.
I mean, that is very plain and simple, and I mean, right to the point.
Yeah. So, let's dive into this. Episode starts off. We got future Sophie dancing with a stuffed bear. There it is.
Kind of weird.
It was an odd way to open the episode. I will agree to that. I was like, what is happening here?
So I want to talk about, because this is technically part of a story, and I want to make a reference to here that she straight out says that the bear was given to her by the son's father.
Yes,
and
on their first Valentine's Day as a couple.
Yep, but she straight out says though at the end of the episode he wasn't there for this escapade.
No, what she says that is about Ian, because we see a shot of Ian at the end, and she said, and the kid says he's not even in this story, and then she said that story will come later, so we're gonna see that story later on with Ian.
Oh, so I took that entirely a different way.
Oh yeah. Otherwise, they'd be giving it away that it was Ian, because Ian's the only one that's not in the story.
That is true.
Out of all the possible people, Ian's the only one not in the story right now, in that specific episode. Yeah. So, we go in, and Jesse starts off. He says Valentine's Day is the worst, my friend. He's kind of like me at times.
I'm glad that we kind of got more normal Jesse in this episode, but I still feel that he was really whining.
I don't necessarily think it was that he was whiny, not in the same way that he was when he was with Meredith. This is the kind of, it's just that he really doesn't like this specific thing. We've seen that in like How I Met Your Mother and stuff like that as well.
Okay, that's more fair.
He's so adamant that this holiday is a terrible holiday that he just has no good things to say about it in any way.
Nope.
Yeah.
No, but it's so weird.
What I find interesting is how Sid is the exact opposite of him in this entire thing. I
love that. So I love once they start breaking down the stories of, each person's like Valentine's Days past. I love that you really get to see like Sid goes all out, like hard. But yeah, Jesse's like really refined and quiet, and I'm just kind of like, you feel like that would be different, like that would be backwards. Yeah,
you would almost think that, but no, did not quite go that way. We find out that Sophie also loves herself some Valentine's Day, and she and Vale have named it Svalentine's Day for themselves,
which Charlie can't pronounce.
Yeah, I love that.
He's like, isn't that how you guys already say Valentine's Day? And she's like, no, it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah. And then Ellen walks in.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You feel bad?
No, I was gonna say I feel bad for Ellen because like you said, she walks in and she announces that she and her special lady cannot be together for Valentine's Day because she had to go out of town.
Yeah.
And she had this like huge special romantic thing planned, and now it's all
she has a nude ice sculpture.
First off,
of Rachel.
That was amazing.
Yeah. I was like, all right, there you go.
It had no qualms putting it out for everybody to see, though.
Yeah, she's just carrying this nude sculpture of her girlfriend, just plopping it right in the bar. Boom, there you go, guys. Take a look. This is what I get to see whenever I feel like
it. Ice cold.
Ice cold.
So whose Valentine's Day do we want to talk about first?
I mean, we could go in order if you want. Just kind of go through the episode that way because that's how I wrote them. But if you wanted to bounce around, we could bounce around.
I mean, it doesn't bother me. Let's talk about them in order then.
Okay. Well, it starts off. Okay, so Sophie's is kind of broken up at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah.
So,
and Charlie's is kind of scattered throughout because he
Yeah.
keeps trying to tell it, and they keep shooting him down.
Yeah. So we start off. The whole point of this is they decide to tell these stories of their worst Valentine's Day, like we said, to cheer up Ellen. So Sophie decides to start, and she starts off telling a story about when she's 8 years old. But she's instantly stopped by Ellen because she says that stories that happen before you hit puberty do not count. I'm like, okay.
I don't know if that's true, though.
I mean, I agree, especially because her story, because we get the rest of that story at the end of the episode, that's a devastating story.
100%.
And I think that story absolutely counts. You know what I mean?
So, I know why I hate Valentine's Day. Why do you hate Valentine's Day?
I just don't like the over commercialization of it, the expectation. It's like, why should I be expected to do all this special stuff on one specific day? Why not any other day? Like,
That's
I feel like, isn't it more special to do something for your significant other on a day you're not expected to do it?
See, I like this because
we have
the
if I were to get my girlfriend or wife or whatever like flowers and take her out to dinner on like a random Tuesday just because I wanted to, wouldn't that be more special than, oh, I have to do it on this very specific day because society tells me I have to? I'm just saying.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think it's funny because we have the classic How I Met Your Mother father / split on Valentine's Day where you're going to post pubescent, and my reason for hating Valentine's Day spawns from when I was a kid, like Sophie.
Oh, okay.
So I've hated Valentine's Day since I was in grade school because I was the loner kid and I didn't have that many friends. And I was in 3rd grade and I didn't get one single Valentine out of the entire class. Nobody gave me a Valentine.
That happened to me too. And that's probably why my thought process toward Valentine's Day kind of went that way. I probably just don't. I honestly just don't think about it all that much when it comes down to that. But
I still think about it from
things
time to
time. Yeah, Valentine's Day, birthdays, that has happened to me as well.
Yep.
Because I too was a bit of a loner and did not have barely any friends, especially in elementary school. So totally get that.
But yeah, that's where my hatred for it came. That's why I kind of understood where Sophie was coming from because traumatic shit happens as a kid, and it might not be significant to other people, but it's what defines us as a person. So fuck somebody else to tell me that my event wasn't as traumatic as theirs. It still happened to me, and it still affected who I was.
And I agree with Jesse when he's like, how are you so in love with Valentine's Day after what you went through? We can talk a little bit about, about what she went through.
Go ahead.
When she was 8 years old, there was going to be a daddy-daughter dance, and she decided to put up signs for her father that she had never met.
Never met him.
To invite him to this dance. And it's such a sweet thing for a kid to do. You know what I mean?
Oh,
the thought of that. And it's heartbreaking that she would have to go through something like that. It's like Barney with the whole Bob Barker thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's very similar. But a freaking local pedophile ends up coming to the damn dance.
I thought that was a really as sad of a story as it is. I love where she's like, yeah, this random guy showed up and
they called the neighborhood creep. But it's
neighborhood creep,
AKA the pedophile. Like really,
and I'm just like, wow. I was like, that's fucking. She's like, they said I probably saved a lot of kids' lives.
Yeah.
I'm like probably.
Like that's pretty fucked up, man. That's pretty fucked up. But yeah, and she's still very positive about it.
Well, again, it's all in your take on it. Like, yeah, she saw it as a very sad moment, but at the same time, it made her grow to appreciate what she had more.
Yeah,
she knew that she only had so much. She had her mom, and her mom are very close. Yeah. And then when she got a little bit older, her and Valentina were best friends, and
Yeah. But I have to say, John, her next story or piece of story killed me because she starts telling a story when she was 13 and we get a goddamn clip from Lizzie McGuire. And it was amazing.
Yeah. That kind of made me laugh. Like, I was like, haha. I was like, I couldn't believe they took an actual clip from the show. I wonder how that...
And I found out when I was doing my research, it's the episode they took it from was a Valentine episode of Liz McGuire. Yeah, I thought that was really kind of cool too. But I'm just like, I hope they do that more. You know what I mean?
I was just wondering,
not a lot, not a ton, but just like every so often, maybe like once a season, even. You're just like, here's a clip from Lizzie McGuire. Boom.
Have they actually showed her mom yet?
Yeah.
No, right?
Yes. Remember her mom came into town with her new boyfriend who was like a musician.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, because wouldn't it be really funny if they used the same actress who played Lizzie's mom?
That would be funny if they did do that. But what I was thinking, how cool it would be, because they show that clip specifically. What if they brought in Lelaine? The actress who was her friend? Because, like, they showed that clip. So, like, that could just be a clip of Sophie and her friend when they were 13. And they could bring that childhood friend in and have Lelaine play that character. I think that'd be dope.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. I don't know if they would bother to do that, but I think it'd be really cool to do that.
I mean, I wouldn't be against it.
Yeah, I think it'd be really, really fun. Okay, so yeah, that was Sophie's stuff. Sophie's Valentine's stuff specifically. We'll talk about stuff at the end of the episode when we get there. Then next was Vale, which I love this one because we get some Vale and Sophie college years stuff.
Yeah. And well, this one made me laugh specifically because of like the way like they're intro, because clearly this is when they first met.
Yes.
And it's like, so as we're gonna talk about it, Valentina shows up at this door of a college dorm room, and like right behind her in tow is Sophie, and like they kind of like introduce each other and or introduce themselves to one another.
Yeah.
And I love how Sophie's like, "Oh my God, your name's Valentina. You must really love Valentine's Day because it's like your name." To which I'm like, I don't think it works that way, but okay.
I don't think so either, but I love Sophie's response. She's like, because that if it was me, my name would be Halloweena. I was like, okay. We now know that Sophie's favorite holiday is Halloween, so we need to get an episode that centers all on that.
That would be really cool. And then I love how they're like standing there talking about how they're both there to surprise their boyfriend, and not this creeper named Todd. Because Todd's a weirdo. And he opens the door and he's like, I can hear you guys. And if you're going to degrade me like that, can you at least put on these masks and stuff and let me turn on my webcam? And I'm like...
Apparently he's developing I think they said a glam rock version of Charlotte's Web.
Which was good.
Yeah.
Like they both admitted it was relatively good.
Yeah.
So now I want to hear some of it. Like I want to see some more of this.
Yeah. That and the Flubber musical I need to see.
But then I love how like as like they're there and they're like, well, if you're not here for Todd, and he's in the back and he's like, oh, that Brennan.
Yeah, he says Brennan. The dude's name is Brendan with a D.
Yeah.
It's even on the door.
Yeah. And I thought that was weird too, because I'm like, the door clearly says Brendan.
Yeah. So I'm curious if that was just like the actor getting it wrong. They didn't bother to reshoot it.
It's like Marlon Brando saying Krypton instead of Krypton.
Yeah.
They're like, listen, you got to say Krypton. And he's like, Krypton. And they're like, Krypton. And he's like, Krypton. They're like, Brendan. He's like, Brennan.
Brendan.
Brendan.
Brennan. Yeah, they get pissed.
Well, yeah.
So Val gets pissed.
I was going to say, Val gets pissed. But, I mean, rightfully so, because this is one of the few times, though, where I'm glad to see women stick together instead of against the guy. They became good friends out of the deal, and fuck him.
Yeah, they didn't put blame on each other at all, which I liked. That was nice. Strictly on that guy, which
more women should do that.
And they got their bats, John. I love that scene. They just beat the shit out of a bike.
They're beating the shit out of the bike, and these guys like, that's not my bike.
Yeah. I feel bad for whoever's bike that was.
It reminds me of the scene in Road Trip where she's beating up the car.
Oh yeah.
And then like the one girl standing off to the side, and she's like, "Who's that?" It's her boyfriend. Apparently, he's been cheating on her, and they're all like, "Oh my god!" And she's just like, "Oh, wrong person," and she's just like, "You just ruined something."
It reminded me of a very similar scene in PCU, where they go to steal the one dude's convertible, and they steal the wrong one because it looks exactly the same. Yeah.
Oh man,
any of those, always good stuff. But yeah, they beat the shit, and that formed a bond between the two of them.
Hell
everlasting, man.
Yeah, they even have a name for it. It was BF. Best friends in this life and the next.
Yeah, because they both believe in reincarnation. Like, okay,
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, so do
and they believe that they're going to come back as pedigree dogs.
No, cats.
Or cats.
Cats. In the same estate, John.
In the same estate. Yep.
Then we got Jesse, which, oh boy, Jesse. This guy, he's Ted Mosby in it all throughout his life.
I said the same thing. Yeah. I'm like, man, this guy cannot just stop Ted Mosbying. At least Ted's only ever done it once.
Yeah. All through his life, man. We start off, apparently, first off, he went through puberty in the 3rd grade.
Yeah. I love that the poor child actor had to wear like a small mustache and like soul patch.
Dude, he looked like trailer trash. Like, dude, totally. like Joe Dirt. Kind of like that's kind of what it reminded me of. Just without the mullet.
Oh
shit. I love that when they did the middle school one, bitch had a French horn.
Yes.
It wasn't blue, but it was a French horn.
Oh yeah.
Like they could have picked any instrument.
Well, I mean, come on. It's still a How I Met Your Mother show. Of course they're going to pick that French horn.
I love that they picked out the French horn for him. I thought that was fantastic.
I still think it's funny, though. One of my favorite moments of them doing this, like, how I love you over and over is the girl in the corner. He's like, he goes, I love you. And then, like, they cut back to real time. He's like, listen, you can't hate me for that. And then they flash back to the party, and the guy's like, "Hey man, you want to try
that was in Sid's. That was in Sid's story."
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Which I have notes about that. Because something there's a reference in there which I liked quite a bit.
Fair.
We did though get within Jesse's. We did get another look at them in college, and dude, Jesse looked pretty kick ass in that scene, man. Like he was like. Like fuck the man, and like he looked cool. Like Sid's hair, I love Sid's hair.
They give us the shot of the apartment.
That is at the beginning of Sid's.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Which we'll talk about right after this one. But yeah, I love seeing them in college because I've been saying this since they started doing it this season. Those scenes really feel like How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
and I really love that with because I know we kind of like skimmed over Charlie's because his is really short, and it's like
we haven't really done. Yeah, we haven't really talked about his yet. Yeah.
yeah. But I love Charlie with like the big poofy hair.
Yeah.
I'm all like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Dude.
Jesse just over, and this is what I was saying earlier was I feel like this episode for Jesse's story, even though it's very Ted Mosby-ish of I love you, way too soon. I also feel like it's a dig at the Ted Mosby piggyback approval thing because like he gives it away so easy.
Yeah.
Or no, that's Marshall.
Does.
No, Marshall.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Marshall gives it away.
Yeah. And it's like it's kind of a dig at the both of those because like he has no qualms just being like, I love you. Oh, I love you.
It's true. Jesse's like anti-establishment stuff felt like a much cooler version of Dr. X.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
I was thinking that too. And I was like, man,
like, it's
I was
everything Ted was trying to do, but was unsuccessful at.
Oh, well, I feel like Ted was unsuccessful at a lot of that because he didn't know how to get himself out there cooler.
Yeah.
You figure he was talk radioing in like the middle of like the early 2000s when talk radio shows were going like kaput to start.
I think it was actually the late 90s, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you're right. It would have been the late 90s. I mean, still.
Yeah.
But I mean, I want to see a scene at some point in How I Met Your Father where they go to McLaren's for some reason. Maybe just because they're closer to Sid's and Jesse's. But I want them to pop into McLaren's and I want the gang to be there. And I want them to like I just kind of want to see the comparison of like who they would compare each one of themselves to. Because like we clearly see like, well, this person is like this person and like this person's a combination of these people, but like, I want to see how the show would pit them against each other's.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. Speaking of McLaren's, we're gonna go into Sid's stuff right at the beginning of the episode of this portion of it. Sid, they're in the apartment together. He's like, let's go to the McLaren's place downstairs. And I was like, yeah.
Now here's my thing. Did you notice the wall behind them?
Not specifically. What did I miss?
Still has damage from the bookshelf. This is what I wanted to point out.
Yeah.
It still had the damage where they they painted over it, but there was the plaster ripped off of it from where the bookshelf.
You can see the brick.
Yep. From Ted's encyclopedias.
Yep, encyclopedia.
And I was like, oh my God, like clearly when they were like fixing up the apartment to get like sell it, they didn't fix it.
You know what I have not looked for in any of those scenes that I feel like I need to look for is the flail damage still there?
See, that's the thing. That's a harder one to notice because they never really shoot that high.
Yeah.
They had to intentionally show that one.
That's
and
true.
I'm like, but I do.
I'm gonna try to keep an eye out for it if I remember to see.
Usually, if they give a wide enough shot, I try to look, and I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah, but yeah, the busted wall is awesome. I love that.
Oh yeah, there. I want to know if the hole by the door is still there, or is that one patched up?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Is there something covering it? I guess is the question. I don't know. I haven't. I think that's the thing. I need to just go to those scenes and just start pausing them and studying those scenes.
Well, a lot of the times we haven't really seen the door enough yet to get that feel.
Yeah, they don't show the apartment very often.
No,
they really don't.
I think it's because they're really trying to remind you that this isn't How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah,
like probably. As much as fans want to be like, ooh, here's these comparisons or the feels, this is still a different time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll say it this way. It's still How I Met Your Mother because it's still that story. It's just another person's story in that universe. And like Breaking Bad.
I'll be honest, which is why I'm actually kind of glad that they don't do everything at McLaren's.
Yeah.
It's at a different bar. So like it can be its own thing. I do like that. Yeah.
Well, that's why I guess in a way of saying it, it's kind of like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. the story that happens in the same universe as one another, but you're clearly seeing two different timelines of events. You know, How I Met Your Mother takes place in the early 90s, mid 2000s, and then this is clearly happening in our time.
Yeah.
Which is why we can still get appearances from the original cast, though, because parts of How I Met Your Mother are still going on in our time.
Yep. Yeah, and Tracy, I'm pretty sure, doesn't die until next year. I think it's 2024.
I'm pretty sure as well, which is why I'm really hoping we at least get one appearance from her.
Yeah.
Even if it's like...
It would have to be this season because she gets sick.
Unless they do flashback, where like somebody ran into Ted somewhere.
That's true.
Because I mean, they could do like because you know Ted was a professor for a while.
Yeah,
easily could have been like one of them in college or something. Or
I still want to see the two of them together though in a scene. You know what I mean?
Listen, I so badly want to see that as well.
Yeah,
I want to see. I want
them
to
with like their kids or something. It would just be. It'd be awesome to see them out and about. And they just happen to run into him or whatever. I think it would be really cool. And this season's the season to do it. It's gotta, you know, and they got plenty of time if they want to, but I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens.
We will
see the remaining 13 episodes. So still got a ways to go. So yeah, we're still on the Sid stuff. Him and Hannah, according to Sid, aren't exclusive at this point. You know, they're in med school at this point. You know, and he still wants to be a player. You know, she's not my girlfriend, you know. And so she sends Sid a pic of her dancing with Drew. Yeah, our little boy Drew there.
I was like, because we don't see the picture at first. He's just like, oh, there's this picture of this guy. Who's this guy? And then we don't find out it's Drew until they get there. But
yeah, so, well, no, they do show it, but it's like real quick.
Oh, see, then I didn't see Drew when they flashed the picture.
Yeah,
because I was shocked when they got there, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's Drew!"
The first time I watched my first watch through, I didn't catch it, but on the second time through, I saw the picture. I was like, "Okay, yeah, there he is in the picture." But yeah, I was the same as you. I didn't catch it the first time around.
No, neither did. Like I said, I didn't catch it the first time, so I'm glad you did then.
Yeah. So yeah, they go to this party, and they have a dance off. And dude, Jesse's got some moves, man.
Jesse's got some moves. Sid's a little refined, but
yeah, I mean his were okay. But dude, Jesse was just like going all out.
Oh, dude, Jesse was.
I love it. He's like, "Are we having a dance off?" He's like, "We are now."
I love that, and this is clearly like Sid and Jesse are like clearly like best friends. Like,
oh yeah,
he's got his back.
Yeah,
like I'm sure if it would have needed to come down to it, Jesse probably would have punched Drew out for him.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Did they ever said when and where Sid and Jesse met?
I'm pretty sure they said college.
Did they? Okay. Because I'd like to see that. Because like we got in this episode, we get to see Sophie and Vale meet. I would love to see how Sid and Jesse actually met. I think
I'm sure we'll get that at some point.
I hope so. And I would like to see, because we saw Jesse as a kid, we got to get some Ellen as a kid time. You know what I mean? With the two of them doing stuff like that.
Oh
cool.
Man, yes.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff, a lot of flashback possibilities.
I mean, they did a lot more flashbacks in this one than normal, but this one was primarily told by flashbacks. That's why. Yeah.
Which I love. You know, it's essentially like a clip show. That's essentially what it is. You know, but and I love that.
I wonder if that's why they've been so not flashbacky the last few episodes.
Maybe
because they knew this one was coming and it was like full of like previous shit.
Yeah, it's like, we gave you a taste. Now we're going to make you wait, and then we're just going to fucking slap you in the face with it. There you go. We're just going to whip out our big one and slap you in the face with it.
Call it Tony Danza slap for those of you who are taking notes at home.
There you are.
And for those of you who don't know who Tony Danza is, well, he's the boss.
We haven't done kids in a while.
Kids! Back in the 80s, there was an actor named Tony Danza. He was the boss.
He
But
was the
for
boss.
anybody who tells you he's the boss, you tell them that's bullshit, because we all know it was really Mona and Angela that were running that show.
Oh yeah, man. Mona and Angela all day. Tony was the bitch.
Tony,
That show should have been called "Who's the Bitch."
dude, I want to make a comic strip based on the fucking who's the boss, and call it Who's the Bitch, and tell it from the other perspective.
There he is, man.
Angela's like, can you believe this motherfucker? He didn't even make dinner.
Who's the bitch? Who's the bitch now?
Who's the bitch now?
All right, so they get there. Like I said, they have this little dance off. Hannah and Drew, they're doing their dance and stuff too. Drew like pulls a muscle, or pretends at least. I think he just pretends to do it.
I think he just pretends to.
And she starts like massaging his calf, and Sid gets all jealous about it, man.
He gets all fucking like white girls up in there where he's like, yo, what's going on? And then she confesses that it was just all an act to get him all jealous to admit that he really had feelings for her.
Yeah. Drewshy. She called him Drewshy.
Drewshy.
I was like, really? Like, no. Let's not do that. It's like when people call me Joshy, and I'm like, no.
Listen,
no thanks.
There was like a 2-year period where you let somebody call you that, and it annoyed the living hell out of me.
Yeah. Trust me, there was a lot of time where it annoyed me too.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so they start talking, but then they start arguing because of it. And they have this big blow-up fight. But, they end up meeting back up the next day and realizing that they want to be together, and they've been together ever since, So
yep,
it's a great little love story. And then we get the bagels too. The bagel heart with the cream cheese.
The bagel heart.
It's like, you're in New York City, okay? Bagels are kind of pricey, my friend, and there was a lot of them there. And those were all bagel tops.
Bagel tops. And I was wondering if you were going to point that out.
Which is like, what do you have? Like at least a dozen of them.
It had to have at least been a dozen.
Like, that's a lot. That's a lot.
But
Rock on Sid, but that's a lot.
I like how, as Sid was telling his story, that we get the shot of Jesse in the back telling the random girl that he loves her.
He's making out with some random girl, and he's like, I love you.
And I love how
he's like, that one doesn't count.
Yeah, that one doesn't count. And I love how the guy's like, hey, man, you want to try some Molly?
No. That is not what he says. He says, have you met Molly?
Oh, have you met Molly?
He pulls a have you met.
You're right.
And that's what I thought was awesome. Because he's just like, hey, have you met Molly? And I was like, oh, shit.
But I love how Jesse's like, listen, I said I love you to a lot of things that day. And he runs down like a small list, trash can that I thought had emotion.
It was my cab driver, a chubby pigeon.
Yeah.
And in a trash can that I swore I had a connection to, or something like that. It was my soulmate, or that I swore had a soul, I think is what he said.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
I'm just like, damn, Jesse.
Yeah, man. Over here dropping.
Have you met Molly?
Have you met Molly? That's the second Have You Met in the show, because they did Have You Met Holly when they were introducing a girl to Ellen at one point.
I wonder if it's Holly with an I or Holly with a Y.
That's a good question. Yeah. Is it 1 L, 2 L's, or 3 L's? You'll never know, my friend. You'll never know. And then we have Charlie.
Poor Charlie.
Oh, Charlie.
He keeps trying to figure out the perfect way to tell his story because they keep shooting him down.
He's trying. I think he's trying. Honestly, I think he's trying to make it seem not so bad by giving it all these grand flourishes in his story. You know what I mean? He's trying to make it sound like this amazing story.
First off, I love how he starts the story about like the open window, and the dancing curtains, and I'm like, they're like, "Whoa, we don't want to hear about softcore porn." And I'm like, I do.
But his story is a really sad story, man.
Yeah, his is second to like saddest.
Yeah, agreed.
Because like he does this grand gesture for this girl, which. Granted, I mean it's a takeoff of cruel intentions, but
Yeah.
it's like still sad.
Yeah.
But poor Charlie lays on this bed and covers himself.
I don't think he covered himself in whipped cream.
Well,
John.
no, I'm sure he didn't. I'm sure the butler helped.
I think his butler covered him.
Wait, hold on. I'm gonna say it the way that every crime show ever has ever said it. The butler did it.
There it is. I mean, the butler puts the cherries on his nipples.
He does. And then I love how at the end he's like, I got a yeast infection. And I didn't know men could get that.
Yeah. But yeah, this girl just doesn't show up.
Yeah, that's shitty.
And he's just there, covered in whipped cream all night. Nothing.
Here's a crazy thing, because he was away to school at that point.
Yeah.
What if we find out later on? Because you know how like they like to tell stories again later and tell them from a different angle.
Yeah.
What if it was like Sophie or Valentina or Ellen?
If it was, I think it would be awesome if it was Valentina. But he says her name, but I guess, I mean, and I don't remember if he said he had met her or not either.
No, I think they were dating at the time. I think she just didn't show up. But I can be a romantic and still want to somehow come back around.
It would be cool. I think it would be cool if that girl just shows up at some point.
That would be cool as well.
You know, we get her side of the story. You know what I mean?
Ooh, that's happened in How I Met Your Mother before.
Yeah, maybe something happened, and she, you know, and maybe she didn't want to not. I don't know. I'd like to hear some more about it. Could be interesting. A lot of possibilities here, John. So throughout the episode, we found out that Sid, you know, he was waiting for Hannah to come into town. Her flight got delayed.
Yeah.
So this was something that was going on throughout. There was a few storylines that were going throughout the whole episode, and this was one of them. And she ends up making it on time. And his excitement, you could feel it.
You could.
You know what I mean? In the way that the actor just put it out there. I thought that was great. Because I love that they are the Lillian Marshall of this show.
So fun.
You know? And I love them as that is why I will be angry if Sid's the father. You know what I mean?
That'd be a really dirty fucking.
That would be fucking dirt. That'd be like saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, folks, Lily's the mother."
I mean, or the whole time they like at the end of the show they pull a swerve and like it's really Lily he wanted instead of Robin because Marshall's been dead for like 5 years.
Yeah. Like that would be messed up, right?
Dude, that would be. I hadn't thought about it like that, but that would be pretty fucked up.
Yeah, so I hope that it's not Sid, especially because, like I said, I love him and Hannah. They are like the perfect couple for the show.
No, you're
right.
Need
to stay together.
But now that you've put that seed in my head, I'm like, oh man, that's because I almost immediately eliminated him from potential fathers because of Hannah.
Yeah.
I hadn't really put him into the running because of the whole relationship. But now you've got me wondering, what if their relationship doesn't work and this was all just a ploy to swerve us the whole time?
You never know, man. You never know. It would be wild and I would not be happy about it.
God damn it.
But it would be wild if that did happen.
And not much after Hannah shows up, a surprise shows up for Ellen.
Yes, it does.
It shows up in the form of a hot and ready cheese pizza from Little Caesars.
It shows up in the form of a product placement.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but it also comes with a video call from
Rachel.
Rachel, thank you. I gotta commit her name to memory. But yeah, it comes with a video.
You've seen her naked body in ice, man. So I think it's time to remember her name.
It's not like there was much detail to that naked ice sculpture. Okay,
it's true.
You got to see some boobs and some curvage. That's about it.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, and then she pretty much tells her that she's sorry that she couldn't be there for Valentine's Day, and she hopes the pizza.
I like them together.
I think that they're cute together as well.
Yeah. I hope that lasts. I hope that we get more story, because we don't honestly get a lot of Ellen's story just
Nope.
in general. And so I hope that we start getting more of her and more of them as a couple as well.
I agree.
That's what I'm hoping for. And then we get some Sophie and Jesse stuff that goes throughout. Sophie, okay, so we talked about throughout Jesse's story, him pulling Ted Mosby's over and over again.
Yep.
This makes Sophie, or she says, irked.
Oh yeah.
She's not happy.
She's pissed, bro.
Yeah,
and you can tell visibly, like, she's irritated on multiple occasions by it.
Oh,
and he asks her at the end of the story, he's like, well, why does this bug you so bad?
Yeah.
She's like, because I love you is not just something I throw around, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she said it made her, she's like, I may have been freaked out when you first said it, but it also made me feel special. You know, and then, you know, hearing that you've said it to 1 in 4 women in America, which I thought was a funny line.
Does that turn out to be like 83%?
No, that's 25%. It would have been funnier if she was like, you said it to 17% of all the women in America. That would have been funny. I would have loved
that. That would have been.
But yeah, she didn't feel special anymore, and that bothered her. Because she still obviously has feelings for him.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's not over Jesse yet.
No, not at all. And you could see he still feels stuff for her. You can see it.
Oh yeah.
And I liked how he explained himself. You know, he was like, you know, after Meredith left him, he's like, I thought I'd never say that to anyone again.
Yeah.
And then he met Sophie, you know, and it's like that made her feel that special again, because you can see it coming. I think something's going to happen with them soon. I do think something's going to happen.
I think Valentine's Day is going to be the groundwork, and then there's probably going to be like a hangout or something where something's going to like push them to like have to spend a little bit more time together. Yeah. Whether it be like work related or some project of one of the two of theirs, maybe something with the picture.
Maybe. I think I have, well, because see, here's the thing. We already know Sophie ends up with somebody in this season. You know what I mean? They have revealed that. So it makes me wonder, will they actually have a chance to get together during this season at any point? I don't know.
Probably not. They're probably going to jerk us around on it.
Yeah. If
maybe
anything,
they'll have that.
Maybe the end of the season, like the very end of the season or something like that, but I don't know.
Maybe. I was going to say, I could see them doing like the tease moment where they're going to have their moment finally, but then they get cold feet and then that makes her overcorrect to some other dude.
Maybe. Yeah. But like, they did that, so I hope they don't do that part again. You know what I mean?
I mean, they did that kind of shit in How I Met Your Mother all the time.
Yeah, I know, but they just did that.
I know.
It's like, give me some time before you recycle.
We're trying to predict a show that we can't predict this one because we don't know where this is going yet.
I know. It's like, if we didn't know about this other guy that's coming, I would 100% be like, oh yeah, man, they'll get together by the end of the season. Boom. I would be confident in that. But True. Knowing that this other guy is coming and not knowing when he's coming, it's like, shit, man. It doesn't seem like it is, but I don't know. We'll see.
Only time will tell.
Yes, only time will tell. And then they tease a little bit, you know, about all the possible fathers. You know, she's like, I don't remember what future Sophie said. What did she say? She says something, and then it kind of teases it up, and then they show all of the possible fathers. You know, they show, you know, Drew and Jesse and Charlie and Sid and Ian. So they go through all of them, and they show you that to remind the audience that, oh yeah, there are all these people that could be the father. That we don't know who it is yet. So, and it's like, I'm leaning toward Jesse, but they could curveball us to a Sid or a Charlie or something. Who knows?
I mean, I wouldn't be against it being Charlie either, but I mean,
I kind of would at this point, mainly because of how we now know how Val feels about him.
True.
And she's like, we'll be together again soon. Like, it'll happen. Like, she believes that they'll find their way back to one another. That it would kind of bug me if Sophie stole him. You know what I mean?
Well, what if it's what's the word I'm looking for? Surrogacy situation. He's just a father because Sophie wanted to have a kid, couldn't.
So like the father isn't who she's with? Dude, that opens up some doors, man.
Like what's the movie? It's the one with Ryan Reynolds and Abigail Breslin. Definitely Maybe?
Oh, yeah.
And he's telling the story to the little girl about how there's 3 potential mothers and she'll know her mother, and
Yeah. Dude.
See, now I've kinked the hose on you and you're like, oh shit, I hadn't thought about that.
That opens some doors, man. That is interesting. Shit. Okay. Well, that's a lot to think about, my friend. That's a lot to think about.
And we're theorizing in episode 7. We've still got 13 episodes to go, and we don't even know if they're going to get picked up for a 3rd season. So we really got to ride the wave. And I mean, we've watched How I Met Your Mother.
Theoretically, this show could go 9 seasons. You know what I mean? Just like How I Met Your Mother did, and who the fuck knows what's going to happen?
Well, that's why I was like, we're theorizing, but we're also theorizing off a show that ran for 9 seasons and we've watched a bunch of times.
Yeah,
they've got all that in their back pocket, like those show creators, the writers, P. Fry. They know where to tease us and misdirect us, just because they've already went through this once before.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, absolutely. So,
it's fucking mind blowing.
It is, man. It excites me because we've talked about this before. How it's exciting to not know what's coming, be able to speculate and try to be like, what if this? I feel like though
it also leads to some disappointment, because then at the same time we're like, oh man, that's not how I would have done this, but that's still cool.
Yeah, I mean inherently that will be part of it. We will have disappointment at some point.
Oh,
but
I bet
So, but I think that wraps up. Is there anything else that you wanted to mention about the episode? Anything else you wanted to bring up?
No.
All right. Well, if you got nothing else, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you at?
Listen, people, hop on over to Twitter. Find me right here at Simply Saying J1. I have a podcast. I have a blog. I have my Twitter account. If you want to ask me some questions, get to know me. I'm about to bring my my podcast back.
Oh, hells yeah.
You were waiting for that, weren't you? Oh shit. Yeah, I'm about to bring it back, people, and we're gonna have some fun. I put it out there on Twitter and on my Facebook, but I haven't gotten any hits back except for this guy sitting next to me. So here it is. If you want to ask me questions and get to know me better, feel free to ask away. Ask me anything you want, and I will answer it on my podcast.
Boom. Do it. At Simply Sane J1. The number 1.
Then when you're done looking up all my fun stuff, hop on over to this dude's insane account and check out all his great content.
That's right. You guys can check me out at Movie Blog Merc on Twitter. That is the Twitter page for my site, Merc with a Movie Blog. If you are watching this on YouTube, you are watching it on the Merc with a Movie Blog YouTube channel. So be sure to hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and click that little bell wherever the fuck it is.
That's right.
If you are,
and if you're watching it on your mobile device, don't forget that you can set your subscriptions to notify you when we drop new content.
Boom. Get it. Got it. Good. And if you guys are listening to this, check us out on Anchor, or what I think it's called Spotify for podcasters or something. I don't know. But you can check it. You can still use the link. It's at anchor.fm/last call HIMYM. And you can leave us a voice message. We haven't had one in a while. We'd love for you guys to leave us something Just ask us some questions, comments, anything. You know,
tell us
I'm
what
sure
we're doing wrong.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something that's like, oh, I don't like it when they do that. Just tell us. We want to hear it, guys. And if you're on Apple Podcasts and you really love what you're hearing, be sure to leave us a 5-star review. Write something in there with it, and we will read that out on air. As we'll give you a nice shout out on air. We haven't been able to do one in a while, so we'd love to hear you guys from you guys.
We want to hear it, peoples. Let us know what's on your minds.
Absolutely.
And don't forget all our links anywhere.
Yes.
Last Call HIMYM.
That's right.
Twitter, Patreon,
Instagram, Anchor,
Facebook.
I don't have a Facebook for it at the moment, but
fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, anywhere that we do have one, the link is Last Call HIMYM.
That's right, guys. And be sure to follow us there on all those places. I'm fairly active on the Twitter page, so if you got questions, comments there, feel free. You know, heck,
see something that reminds you of how you met your mother or father?
Yeah,
share it to us.
I'll share it. You got a cool meme? Slap it on there. Slap it to base.
Slap it to base, man.
That's right. So, outside of that, I think I don't have anything left for him, man. What do you got for him?
Listen, you don't have to go home, but you can't listen here.
All right, catch you next time.